All right, let's jump right into Genesis chapter 46. When you first read it, it might just seem like a travel log, right? A family packing up and moving. But trust me, it is so much more than that. This chapter is a huge turning point. It's the exact moment a family starts becoming a nation. And that really is the big question, isn't it? How does a family, even a big one, make that incredible leap to becoming an entire nation? Well, Genesis 46 actually gives us the blueprint. And it's all about a journey, a divine promise, and a really, really clever strategy. So let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with the patriarch, Jacob, and he is at a massive crossroads. He's just gotten this incredible invitation to go to Egypt from his son Joseph, the son he thought was dead for years, to escape this terrible famine. But for Jacob, this isn't just about packing his bags. No, this is a full-blown crisis of faith.
He gets as far as Beersheba, a really significant spot, by the way, with deep ties to his father Isaac and his grandfather Abraham, and he just stops. He offers sacrifices. You can almost feel the anxiety, can't you? He's about to leave the promised land. To him, it must feel like he's turning his back on his heritage, on God's big promise. He has to be thinking, is this journey for survival actually taking me away from my destiny?
And it's right there in that moment of total doubt that the whole point of this trip gets flipped on its head. Something happens in the middle of the night, a divine intervention that changes absolutely everything.
God speaks to Jacob directly. And it's not just, hey, it's okay to go. It's a command and it's a promise. The whole journey is completely reframed. Suddenly, it's not about escaping a famine anymore. It's a mission from God. And Egypt? It's not the end of the line. It's the place where the promise of becoming a great nation is finally going to happen.
And God doesn't just leave it at that. He gives Jacob 3 rock-solid guarantees, hitting on every single one of his fears. First, I will go down with you. In other words, you're not going alone. Second, I will also surely bring you up again. Meaning, this isn't a one-way trip. It's not permanent exile. And third, this is so personal. Joseph shall put his hand upon your eyes. This was a promise that Jacob would live to see his son and die peacefully with Joseph right there beside him. I mean, that is the ultimate reassurance, right?
Okay, so with that divine green light, the journey is back on. And this is where the story does something really interesting. It kind of hits the pause button on all the drama and gives us, well, what looks like a list of names. But stick with me here, because this is not some boring genealogy. This is the official founding roster of the nation of Israel.
It's almost like the Bible is taking attendance, Before this family-turned-nation can enter its next chapter, we get the official roll call. Think of it like reading the names of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. These are the founders. These are the names that will be the foundation for everything that comes next.
And when you count them all up, you land on this one single powerful number: 70. 70 people, all from the house of Jacob, walk into Egypt. And believe me, that number is not random. It is absolutely packed with meaning.
Yeah, so this number 70, it's way more than just a head count. It's deeply symbolic. For one, it sets up the whole structure for the 12 tribes of Israel. It also creates this clear, unbroken link all the way back to Abraham. And in a theological sense, the number 70 often represents something complete, something whole and perfect. So what we have here is the complete founding family, perfectly ready for the next big phase of the plan.
So with the founding roster officially on the books, the story shifts gears again, and now it starts building to this incredible emotional climax. I mean, after decades of thinking his favorite son was dead, Jacob is finally about to see him again.
And the buildup is just perfect. Jacob sends Judah on ahead to get directions. And just think about that for a second. Judah, the very son who suggested selling Joseph into slavery, is now the one paving the way for this reunion. Meanwhile, Joseph, who's basically the prime minister of Egypt, gets his own chariot ready and rides out himself. The stage is totally set for this epic meeting in Goshen.
And the moment they meet, they just fall on each other's necks and weep. It's an incredible scene. Then Jacob says something profound. "Now let me die." And this isn't him giving up. It's the exact opposite. It's a cry of total, absolute fulfillment. It's the sound of a father whose life's greatest sorrow has just been erased. He's seen his son's face. He knows he's alive. And now he can die in complete peace.
Okay, so after that incredibly emotional reunion, Joseph's practical, strategic brain just kicks right back into gear. He knows it's not enough for his family to just get to Egypt. He has a brilliant plan to make sure they don't just survive, but that they actually thrive.
And this is where you see Joseph's genius at work. He knows a key piece of cultural information. Egyptians can't stand shepherds. They think it's an abomination. But instead of trying to hide who his family is, he tells them to lean into it. He says, when you meet Pharaoh, tell him straight up you're shepherds. He's playing a long game here, using this cultural bias to his family's advantage. He knows it will get them their own separate, fertile land, the land of Goshen.
So Goshen basically becomes the perfect incubator for this new nation. It keeps them separate, which protects them from just getting absorbed into Egyptian culture and losing their identity. And it's super fertile land, so their flocks can grow, their families can grow. It's perfect. It's in this protected little bubble that those 70 people will multiply into millions over the next few centuries, exactly like God promised.
So when you pull back and look at the whole thing, it's so clear that Genesis 46 is way more than just a moving story. This chapter is the crucial bridge. It's what connects the epic tales of the patriarchs in Genesis to the incredible story of liberation that we're about to get in Exodus.
And you can really see the grand sweep of the whole story here. A promise made to Abraham centuries before is finally being set in motion. This move to Egypt in Genesis 46, it's the first domino. It leads directly to their growth in Goshen, and that in turn leads to the legendary Exodus when that great nation is finally called out of Egypt.
And that brings us to one last, really provocative thought, the very strategy that kept Israel safe and allowed it to flourish in Goshen. You know, their separation, their massive population growth, that's the very thing that will eventually make the Egyptians afraid. And that leaves us with the perfect question to launch us into the book of Exodus. What happens when a protected people grows so much that they become a perceived threat?